up taking 16 minutes, turning an 11-minute lead over Visagie into a 5-minute deficit. It was a cruel blow. The Central Service Park looked superbly professional, but the Volkswagen crew did not notice. They were only concerned with tracing the misfire in Keen's car. For the rally, the pressure had lifted off Ryan. He had also made up another place to 8th, following Gemmel's demise. Hubert was still going well and had his sights firmly set on his first national class win, but Trott continued to fight back, taking another 8 seconds back on stages 12 and 13. The team total driver was showing that he's not a champion for nothing. Vulcan was out of contention for the class win, but was mad and overdriving just a tad. The Velox sisters were nearing the fringes of the top 10, a result that would be personal bests. Karth's good drive was nearing an end as finding gears was becoming increasingly difficult. Jaco Venter and JB van Nieuwenhuizen were running third in Class A6 in their Venter Motors Toyota Corolla. Chris de Wit and Patrick Yendi were the only entrants in Class N2, but it was not all plain sailing for them as their team total Corolla battled with a misfire. Ben's car was much improved on the final day and he was charging up the field from his 18th place overnight. Skalkberger Jr. and Wimpy van Grienen had endured a tough event, which continued when they retired their Toyota Corolla with gearbox failure after this stage. Visagie's battered Runex was still going strongly, but based on what had already happened in this event, they were taking nothing for granted. Alan Worms and Llewellyn Fourie had led Class A5 the entire event in their Lessan Engineering TAS, but they would retire with a broken drive shaft in the penultimate stage. Dolf Coetzee and Irma de Plooy would also retire their TAS before the end with gearbox failure. Zimbabweans Stephen Lauderdale and Dave Gareth were another crew that would not see the end of this event. Nico and Gert Nienaber rolled out on the final stage after the rear axle broke. Brother and sister team Eugene Lawrence and Janine Labuschagne were leading Class N1. Tony Barbosa and Danny van Vuren also retired within sight of the finish line. Harbeck's crew was working hard to find the misfire that was plaguing the Golf.
Danny, you had a fantastic stage in the dark last night in Zast to get yourself in the lead, but a bit under pressure this morning.
Yeah, we picked up a misfire on the engine and we're really struggling to find it, and yeah, it's obviously affecting the performance of the car.
And Dempsey seems to have no problem, so that makes it a bit more difficult, eh?
Yeah, it's more than frustrating at this stage, but the guys are working hard and hopefully we'll find it soon.
Ergen, it was going so well, unfortunately another disappointing end. Tell us what happened.
Yeah, look, the whole rally we've been battling a bit with a gear lever that's moving and it changes gears automatically, so it started hitting the gears and probably the gearbox just broke now. So that's it, no drive.
This morning it was, the times were exactly the same. And then this morning it took some time off on the first stage. We had a overshoot, and then in the second stage we went well. And then on the third stage I see he's had a problem now. So he's out, so we just got to make sure we make it to the end now.
With 3 stages to go, Harbeck was still in the lead. With the rev limiter lowered by 500 revs, the misfire disappeared and it took another 11 seconds from Damso, stretching the gap to 33 seconds. Damso was the first to overshoot this turn, but he would not be the last. cost him about 15 seconds, helping Habich to stretch his advantage. Berger was driving hard to keep Lawrence at bay, but ran wide and beached the car on a bank, losing 40 seconds. He was fourth fastest on the stage. Chasing hard for third place, Lawrence made the same mistake as Damso, but recovered faster, thanks to some guidance from Sarel van der Merwe on the sidelines, to snatch second fastest time. Kuhn got the corner right, and the Golf had temporarily lost its misfire, but it would return later in the stage to cost him another minute. He still managed fifth fastest time on the stage, though. With Fecken out of the fight, Class A7 was as good as one for Damso Jr. Seventh fastest stage time was good enough. Ryan and Carey Hill put in another solid performance and were now up to 7th overall. They were 6th quickest on this stage. Hubert was still comfortably leading in Class A6. Trott was still going, but his gearbox had lost its oil and was on its way to expiry. The Rally Chicks were encouragingly putting in their best performance on a national event. And Bem was still charging and had impressively moved the Mitsubishi up into the top 10. With a healthy class lead, Visagie was matching Vulcan's stage times to keep the gap constant.
Rodney, when we last spoke, you were going quite comfortably, but you had a bit of an unfortunate incident yesterday. Tell us about it.
Yeah, in stage 8, about 7 k's in, we hit a stump on the inside of the corner and it flipped us over. And unfortunately, we were on our side, and it took us about 11 minutes to get the car back on the wheels and going again. So we thought our rally was basically over. And now Charles went and had a problem. I'm not sure in what stage. They lost a lot of time, so now we're about 3 minutes ahead, so we've got to just keep it.
The penultimate stage would prove crucial. Habich's misfire returned, costing him 50 seconds and handing Damso a 17-second lead with just one extremely fast stage to go. Damso gladly accepted the gift, his purple patch continuing unabated. Berger was second fastest in the stage in defense of his third place. But no such luck for Lawrence, though. His assault on third came to an abrupt end when the Runix broke a throttle linkage. Keen's car was still suffering its intermittent misfire, costing him more than a minute, but he passed the stricken Toyota. Lawrence managed to repair the troublesome linkage and got going again, but he then had to drive in Keen's dust. In all, it cost him about 4 minutes. Damso Jr. was just stroking it to the end, not taking any chances or producing any heroics. With Trott now out of the event, Joubert could afford to ease off for his first national championship class win and 9th overall to boot. De Wit made it home to win Class N2 with 11th overall and the 1600cc class African Series win. Visagie took a comfortable Class N3 victory, while Lawrence and Labuschagne took the N1 honours. Sali and Tommy de Troy were the Class A5 victors. There was not much Habich could do to regain the lead of the rally. The final stage was a flat-out 24.5-kilometre blast on a public road. With the leading cars completing the test in around 8.5 minutes, the average speed for the stage was about 175 kilometres an hour. Many did not appreciate such high speeds. The Gulf's Misfire returned for a final fling, leaving Habich to finish second fastest on the stage to Damso 4 seconds in arrears. Damso rode his luck to win the final stage and take the victory, his 65th and 3rd in succession this season. It was a tough fight for the veteran, but in the end he led when it counted to give himself a healthy points lead. Berger could afford to ease off for a comfortable 3rd overall and production car victory. He was also the African Championship leg winner. Lawrence was happy with his car's performance, which is starting to show race-winning potential. Damso Jr. produced another good performance for the class win, while Kuhn was a frustrated 6th. Ryan, Bem, Joubert and Verlac all produced very good performances.
So it's clubbing seals again today.
Well, I don't know what you mean by that, but it was a tough event for us, and we didn't have it easy from the start, and I think everybody was going quite hard.
But you had a serious day today. I mean, it was just one car in the rally today.
So today we pushed it quite a maximum, and it's the first time we really abused the car a bit on the rough, and that's it seemed to be very good. So.
He must have been a worried man through the 53k stage, having to go flat out all the time, not knowing that Albie had picked up a bit of a problem.
Yeah, well, that's the chance you take. You have to keep going anyway, and just hope that whatever comes out there, that's the result.
Scala first in the African Championship part of the rally. And 3rd overall, very well done. Does that make you want to win the African Championship again this year?
So, no, definitely not. But it was a very good rally for us and we really enjoyed it. Thank you very much.
It was also a very good drive. Past the times, but you preserved the car and came 3rd.
Thank you very much. Yeah, no, we tried to look after the car because we knew it's a long rally, and today we started to push a bit and yeah, paid off.
Habich's consistency left him in touch with Damso in the points race, while Damso Jr. and Fecken are also set to fight out all the way to the wire for Class A7 honours.
3 rounds of the SA Rally Championship down, and 3 wins for Toyota and Surge. As we predicted, he's almost unstoppable.
I think they're totally dominant at this point in time, and really another dismal performance for Volkswagen. They just can't seem to get anything together. The cars have been various problems, no real driver problems. The drivers having to work harder than Surge, I think. But I just think Toyota's got everything together. Their car's perfect. Surge is driving very well, and it's going to be a very, very difficult combination to beat for the rest of the year, I think.
I think the Gulfs were a lot closer than they have been in the past, but still just those niggling problems. I mean, Yanni stood a very good chance till near the end of winning.
They've been close, yes, but I think their drivers had to take more chances than Surge did. So it's a bit easier on them and on him. And I think he can also be a bit easier on his car. They're sitting on the limit all the time, and I think in that respect, they're nowhere at this point in time.
We nearly had a privateer winning, or should I say overnight. It looked like we could have, and after the first stage today, unfortunately it all went wrong for Johnny.
Yeah, very bad luck for him. I mean, he's had now 2 bad seasons. I just hope he keeps going because he was really driving well this event and leading this morning, and unfortunately a very high-speed crash.
And Skulk, very steady, came through, won the African round and Group N as expected.
He did that, but he was never put the leaders under threat, so you know, he wasn't really in the overall hunt at any given time. So yes, it's unfortunate, but like we said before, there's only 3 cars in the rally really, and if anything happens to any one of them, there's no rally left.
Looking down the class this morning, the Class A7 battle promised a lot, and unfortunately that also fizzled out.
I think that's probably the only ray of light that Volkswagen might have is the performance of the smaller car, of the Polo A7. It went very well all along, and it was like mixing times with the faster cars, and I think with a bit more development that car could probably prove to be better than the current A8 cars.